Welcome back. Joining us on the show now is Ajay Goyal. He's chairman at the Wheat Producer Promotion Society. Mr. Goyal, thank you so much for joining in. First of all, your reaction to the wheat production numbers for Rabi, because the overall Rabi is up by, Rabi sowing that is up by 10% as compared to last year. And wheat clearly the best gainer apart from core cereals. We've seen 17% higher sowing as compared to last year. How are you reading the numbers to begin with?
Can you repeat it?
Mr. Goyal, I was asking you on what is your sense on the sowing numbers that we are looking at?
I think there's an audio problem.
Mr. Goyal, is my voice clear to you?
Yes, are you audible now?
All right. I was asking you on your sense on the Rabi sowing numbers to begin with.
So definitely the early year by about 10 to 15 days. So the run-up has been a bit quicker than previous year. So we could look at an area of about 3-4% higher than previous year when the ultimate number comes out for wheat.
Mr. Goyal, what is your sense also on the overall government procurement that you're looking at? Because last year was the best that we saw in 4 years. There also are expectations that via OMSS, we could be looking at much of wheat coming out into the markets in the next couple of months.
I don't think much will come from the government because the market doesn't need the government wheat this year. There is sufficient in the system, and as far as the government stock is concerned, next year we could see on 1st June the government actually carrying over 50 million tons with a 20 million tons of a 30 million metric tons procurement. We could actually see one of the biggest surplus years of government stocking next year.
And in that instance, is there any possibility of that we might be looking at exports being opened up?
So definitely, I think the government looking at their stock next year will be compared to relook at the entire export ban that is going on. And on its own accord, the government might, just to manage its own stock, look at exports. And definitely that seems a 100% possibility in the next year.
I know, I understand the sowing is still on, Mr. Goyal, and these are perhaps early days, but are you also working with a record 117 million tons of a wheat crop for the coming season?
Yes, definitely. We are going to have our, highest output. It's just weather dependent at the end of the, just before the harvest. If things are all normal and good, we will surpass all our previous numbers, I guess.
Mr. Goyal, the other thing really is about the wheat product export that the government has talked about. What has been done on that front at point?
So the Food Ministry, Ministry of Public, it to the DGFT and the Commerce Ministry. The ball is in their court. People are hoping for an order very soon. It will be unfortunate if it doesn't come now because we are now heading to a big glut situation in the next 3-4 months. So we are hopeful.
All right. Also, how are you looking at the Indian demand going forward now? We do understand it is usually around the winter time that the wheat demand is on the stronger side. What is your sense on that one? And how much would you say is the private trade holding when it comes to wheat?
So I think the private trade continues to hold more than 4 to 5 million tons as on date. And I think private trade will also be carrying forward its own stocks by about 1 million or 2 in the next year because everybody was playing it very safe, looking at the past experience. And this year the demand has been pretty low. It's not come out as expected even after the GST cut, the good weather, the peak season for consumption. There doesn't seem to be any extra demand or any push in the market.
So, Mr. Goyal, if you were to compare it with last year, what is the kind of wheat demand that the current year has seen then? Are you saying it's a slow growth, it's a degrowth? What is it like?
I won't be surprised if it's just static. I don't think it's a degrowth, but definitely there is hardly any growth. I would put it in that bracket.
And that is the case for baked products as well, food processed?
Across the line, flour consumers like be it biscuits or breads or noodles, all subcategories put together, there doesn't seem to be any traction.
How are you looking at the prices as well?
Prices are quite subdued all over India because of lack of demand and oversupply situation, almost a glut in the wheat market. And this whole year has been flattish, very flat. We are at the same price level at which we were at the start of the season.
How are you then looking at the markets going forward? I mean, we're looking at a bumper crop yet again. Government is holding record numbers as well. Not record numbers, but the highest in 4 years. And as you said, we perhaps could be looking at the biggest number ever. How soon would you say could be a review when it comes to exports going forward?
Government has been promising to review, and there was some ray of hope when the Food Ministry recommended to the DGFT. Everybody was hopeful of an order, but even that has not come. So there is total inaction as far as wheat policy is concerned currently. And of course, the government has opened up OMSs, but at half the frequency to normal years. It's now coming out once in a fortnight, and less than 1/3 of it is being sold. So there is a big disinterest in this market because anybody who has put in money on wheat this year has only lost it.
Okay, an interesting chat there. Mr. Goyal as well as Manisha, thank you so much for joining us. And Manisha, thank you so much for taking us through that conversation as well. But on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. On the other side, we'll focus on work hard, which has been buzzing in trade. Stay tuned in for that.